The Seattle Seahawks are Super Bowl champions, and the New England Patriots prove that they were frauds all along. My Super Bowl 60 recap starts right now on the Shoemake Take. Let's get it. All right, and welcome in, everybody. Hope y'all are having a fantastic, fantabulous, awesome freaking day. My name is Garrett Shoemake, and this is the Shoemake Take, coming at you, recapping Super Bowl 60, the final recap of the season for the Shoemake Take. And wow, what an absolute banger of a season it was. Even though it has been challenging, it has been hard for me to be able to do this podcast week in and week out and cover all the teams and all of the games. It has been mentally taxing out the wazoo. I won't hide that from y'all. But I will say that to get to the end, it is kind of sad that it's all over and we're not going to have any football for 8 to 9 months. So it's bittersweet. Like, there's a part of me that's like has a little bit of a like, we're finally done. But at the same time, it's like, man, there's a part of me that wishes the next season will start tomorrow. So it's a weird balance of trying to feel both of those emotions at the same time. But we're here to talk about the Super Bowl. We're here to talk about that. And I have my preview script pulled up because I have a couple things I want to look at from then and looking back now that the Super Bowl's happened. And I don't really have like a full in-depth analytical recap. We have some things we're going to talk about. We have some analytical things we will talk about. But I kind of want to take this episode to really reflect on the game and just kind of take it from that perspective more than breaking down, oh, the Patriots lost because of this, this, and this. And the Seahawks won because of this, this, and this. That'll be sprinkled in there. But it's not going to be the whole focal point. I just kind of want to just reflect. Okay? So that brings me... going right into it here, that brings me to New England. Because to me, before we look at why they lost in game, there is a reason, bigger reason why the Patriots lost this game. And it's nothing you're not going to see on a stat sheet. It's nothing you're going to see on ESPN. Maybe they'll talk about it on ESPN if Stephen A. Smith isn't talking about the legacy of LeBron James or something like that. But the thing is, the Patriots lost this game because of talent. And in the NFL, coaching goes above all, right? If you have a great team and you don't have a good coach, you're not going to win very many football games. But even if you look at the Patriots, who didn't have a great roster going into the year, but it was a semi-competitive roster, good enough to win some games, but you get a really good coaching staff that can elevate that roster to a very good roster, win a bunch of games, take advantage of the situation that they had with their schedule, which we'll talk about more in a second, and they got all the way to the Super Bowl. But the bottom line is, especially on offense, the Patriots need talent. They need a lot of, I don't say a lot, but they just don't have any elite playmakers. I mean, their best player on offense was Stephon Diggs, and Stephon Diggs is a low-end wide receiver 1 in the NFL. Let's be honest for a second. Let's be honest. He's not a great wide receiver 1. And that's not taking it away from Stephon Diggs, but look at the Seahawks. Look at all the stars that they have on defense compared to what the Patriots have on offense. The difference is night and day. That's the biggest reason for me, overarching, as to why the Patriots lost this game. It's because they don't have enough talent on offense right now. When going into the year, their roster was semi-competitive, and a good coaching staff was able to elevate them. But it doesn't change the fact that when they went up against the best talent in the NFL, they went up against the best defenses, offensively, I should say. They went up against the best defenses in the NFL, and this offense was absolutely a nothing burger. They were terrible, and the Patriots need more talent. That's the big thing. They need more. They simply need more. It was proven in this game. The coaches were great. They're on even ground. They're both phenomenal, Mike McDonald and Mike Vrabel. But the bottom line is, when the coaching level remains the same, at that point, talent rises above all. And New England didn't have it. And seeing this loss cements to me that the Patriots were frauds. They benefited from a very easy schedule. And you look at the teams that they've beaten, almost every single team that they beat had their head coach fired and or an offensive or defensive coordinator fired. So not only were they beating bad football teams, but they were beating poorly coached football teams. And like I just said a second ago, you take a semi-competitive roster with really good coaches like Mike Vrabel, Josh McDaniels, and Zach Kerr, the defensive coordinator, ended up being a really good choice to take over for Terrell Williams. Glad that he's all right. But you can take that into a really good situation and make the most out of it and make a roster that's good enough to win football games. And compared to the opposition that they had to face, they should have won 14 games. They should have won as many games as they did because their competition was simply that much worse than they were. Not saying the Patriots were bad, but let's be honest. Looking at what they did in the playoffs, it was horrible. The defense was carrying them, all their offense, all the way through and ended up leaking into the Super Bowl where the Seahawks had them figured out. The Patriots couldn't do anything. Their run game was non-existent. In going into the preview, I said that Drake May would be their leading rusher again, and he was. Other than Drake May, their running backs, I don't think none of their running backs had a run more than 10 yards. They had a couple first down runs on second and short, right? But they never had an explosive run. They never had a very threatening or run that was like, oh, they almost broke it. No, they were stuffed all game long, and Drake May really didn't start getting mobile with his feet and really start taking advantage until late in the third quarter, fourth quarter, when the game was practically out of reach by that point. So they couldn't run the ball at all. They couldn't get open downfield. The Seahawks match coverage absolutely stifled them. And for those of you that may not know, match coverage, just to break it down really quickly, match coverage, so it's zone coverage. So your defensive players are all in a zone covering a specific area, but after the receivers get enough time downfield and declare their routes, and at that point the defense knows where everyone is going, then they'll take an individual man and shut it down. So that's what they did all game long. The Patriots didn't have the talent to get open down the field, and we saw that. We saw that not only could they not win down the field, but they were constantly trying to use motion. They were constantly trying to use rub routes and get quick dump-offs to Drake May to help him out, and I said going into this game, that's what the Patriots were doing because they couldn't win downfield, and the same thing repeated itself in Super Bowl 60. And you look at the Seahawks side of things, there's a reason why every time a Patriots receiver caught the ball beyond the line of scrimmage, there were multiple Seahawks defenders ready to make the tackle. They were prepared. They knew what they were going up against, and the Patriots didn't make any adjustments. Going into the second half, they didn't make adjustments. They tried doing the same things, and it didn't work. And then by the end of the third, early fourth, they started going a little bit more spread, and they had some success. That first touchdown Drake made through to Mac Hollins, that was when they were spread. They got all four receivers out there just running up the field, and they were able to get some wins there. Now, I'll admit that a lot of those wins in the fourth quarter came when the game was out of reach. So at that point, the defense is playing a lot more lax and just trying to run on the clock and not allow the deep shot down the field. But at the same time, the time they finally made some adjustment to their offense, it was too little too late. So it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate because Drake May really needed to step up in this game, and he faltered. He faltered hard, and 3 turnovers is never good. They had 2 interceptions and a fumble. One of those interceptions, I just don't know why. I can't remember what happened, but the one in the fourth quarter completely just threw a duck in the air trying to play hero ball, get picked off by Julian Love, and then the fumble that happened on the last drive, pressure got in his face, lost the ball, got recovered, ran back for a touchdown. And Drake May, honestly, he was horrible in this game. The stat line doesn't look all too bad, but he couldn't throw the ball down the field all game until the fourth quarter. He wasn't getting the ball out on time. He was drifting in the pocket. The pressure that the Seahawks were getting on him was making him see ghosts. Unironically with Sam Darnold on the other sideline. He just was off his mark. He consistently missed wide open throws. He was putting way too much heat on certain throws that led to drops, and he was just rattled the whole game. And that brings me to the biggest culprit of why the Patriots lost, and that's their offensive line. I'm sorry, Will Campbell is not a tackle. He is absolutely not an NFL tackle. I wanted to give him faith. I believed that he could show some good things, but all season long, he's been horrible. And in the playoffs, he was downright one of the worst offensive linemen I have ever seen play. And that's unfortunate because that was the 4th overall pick. And he allowed 14 pressures in the Super Bowl. That's the most by any offensive lineman allowed in a single playoff game since 2018. And I think it was, did I say 14 pressures? I think I did. If I didn't, there's the stat. But he allowed more pressures than any offensive tackle in a playoff series since I don't remember what the stat was, but it was a lot. I think it was the most since around 2018, 2019. It was around that time, I'm pretty sure. Someone let me know in the comments. But in this game, he was an absolute dumpster fire. And Jared Wilson as well, their left guard. Those two rookies, they were absolutely despicable. And not only was Will Campbell playing bad, there were multiple plays where he was thrown. He was thrown on the ground, on his butt. There was a play, I think it was the first sack by Derek Hall in the first quarter. He got one hand in his chest and threw him onto the ground on his backside. And it was destruction. It was absolute destruction. And Jared Wilson was just letting people inside all game long. They were just flying, bringing pressure. And you saw the corner blitz. Devon Witherspoon and Emin Wari both got sacks in this game. But even though they barely blitzed, the Seahawks defensive line got home with 4 all game long. And one of the things I was looking for was, can this offensive line hold up against the Seahawks defensive line? They didn't. They absolutely folded. And at that point, like on the fumble that was recovered for a touchdown, at that point, what's Drake May supposed to do? He has 3 defenders running right at him for free. I mean, what can Drake May do? What is he supposed to do? Yeah, he was pitiful in this game. He was horrible. But let's not put all the blame on Drake May. This offensive line was despicable. It was terrible. And no wonder why nothing worked. I mean, if your offensive line can't block worth a crap, how is your quarterback supposed to have time to make the right read and throw the ball down the field? How are the receivers supposed to get open on time when the receivers or when the offensive line isn't allowing them the time to get open? You have the lack of adjustments, the lack of execution on the Patriots side of things, and then you have the absolute great execution, great coaching, great star power on the defensive side for Seattle. It was a recipe for disaster. And then, like I said, had the Patriots faced an offense that was somewhat mediocre in the playoffs, they would have lost. And they finally went against a mediocre performance of an offense, and they lost. That is what happened. They proved that they were frauds all along. They benefited from an easy schedule, and when the competition got even better, the offense faded away, and the defense had another winning performance. I thought they were good enough. Kenneth Walker had a phenomenal night, but there were multiple times where the Patriots were doing what I said they should do if they wanted to win. They got the Seahawks in a 3rd and long a bunch of times, won on 3rd down and 3rd and long. They were winning on 1st down. They were winning on 2nd down. Christian Gonzalez absolutely had one of the best performances by a corner in Super Bowl history. He was incredible. He absolutely eliminated Jackson Smith and Jigba. Yeah, he got hurt in the 3rd quarter and came back like midway through the 4th. But when he was on the field, JSN was a nothing burger. He was a nothing burger all game long. The offensive player of the year, what was it? Let me scroll and look at this real quick. It was, where's it at? 4 catches, 27 yards. 4 catches, 27 yards. That was it. That's all that he had. Christian Gonzalez was incredible. Multiple critical pass breakups down the field in the end zone. The one right before halftime, he nearly had that. He had the interception in his hands, but he dropped it. I mean, he was phenomenal. This defense pitched a winning performance, but as the game went on and as the offense continued to sputter and continue to struggle, they started to fade. You could tell at the beginning, they were flying towards the ball. They were right at the point of attack. When that ball was going right to the receiver, they were right there ready to smack that ball out or pick it off. But as the game went along, they started looking lax in their coverage. Receivers started getting more open underneath. That's why you saw Cooper Kupp and A.J. Barner have a bunch of catches in this game. And then the touchdown to A.J. Barner in the third quarter, they were just caught out. And by that point, they were out of gas. Kenneth Walker had a few big runs that helped the offense move the ball down the field and get into field goal range. And I said that this game would be defined by turnovers and in the red zone. The Patriots had 3 turnovers. Seahawks had 0. The Patriots only had 1 opportunity in the red zone, and the Seahawks had 5. I mean, the Patriots didn't do what they needed to do to win. They didn't win those battles, and while the defense had a winning performance, it just wasn't good enough. But I don't want to make that take away from the Patriots. And everyone will say the Patriots are frauds. They didn't deserve to be there. Fine. You're right. Sure. But at the same time, you have to acknowledge what it took for them to get to this point. It doesn't matter that their offense struggled throughout all of the playoffs. They got to the Super Bowl. They were able to beat those teams and take advantage of those opportunities. And if I'm a New England Patriots fan, this loss stinks. But at the same time, I wouldn't dwell on this very much. And I'll conclude with talking about the Patriots by saying this right here. Think about where the Patriots were a year ago and think about where they are now. Think about what the roster looks like right now and how much better it could get in a couple of years. The Patriots are in a very good place, guys. The Patriots fans, Patriots Nation, I know a lot of you talked to me oh my God. They left a comment when I talked about Mike Vrabel going to the Super Bowl. A lot of you were happy. A lot of you were excited, giving me thoughts on the Titans and their situation with firing Mike Vrabel. And I know some of you are probably listening to this right now. And let me say this. The Patriots are in a good place. The Patriots have the 3 foundational pillars of a good franchise. They have a great front office, great head coach, great quarterback. They're going to be competitive for years to come. And if a semi-competitive roster can do that, what they just did in 2025, give this team a couple more years to add an elite wide receiver, a better offensive line, an elite pass rusher on the edge, add in a couple more high-level linebackers, not saying Robert Spillane and Jack Gibbons are bad and Caden Ellis are bad. They're good, but they need a truly elite linebacker in the middle of the field. Look at what Ernest Jones was able to do in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. But you give this team a couple more years, and I believe that it's not a matter of if the Patriots will be back. It's a matter of when they'll be back. They have a good nucleus in place to build upon, a good foundation to build upon. I'm not going to be dwelling on this loss too much if I'm a New England Patriots fan. This loss sucks, but everything's in place to build, get better, and be back in this position, and maybe sooner rather than later. And I know that there's a stat that other than Jalen Hurts, who did it last year, was it 19 straight, or before that, it was 19 straight quarterbacks that made their Super Bowl debut, never made it back. Well, the New England Patriots proved one thing, that they have the opportunity to be an outlier here. And despite everything about their schedule being flawed and, beating easy teams, who cares? They went to the Super Bowl when no one thought they would. They shut up all the doubters until they went to the Super Bowl. When everyone was saying that the Patriots didn't deserve to be there, they shouldn't be there, they're not good enough, they made it. They took advantage of those opportunities, and they made it to somewhere that no one thought that they would actually make it. I don't think Patriots fans, I don't think y'all thought you'd make it all the way to the Super Bowl. Are you kidding me? But the Patriots, don't be upset about the loss too much. You guys had a great season. It was magical. It was incredible. And there's going to be no other season like it in New England Patriots history for a long time, I don't think. Be happy that it happened. Don't be sad that it's over and as it was. Be happy that it happened. And think about all the joy that you felt throughout this season. Now we'll get to Seattle as we're done rambling about the Patriots. Now we'll get to Seattle, and we'll start with the offensive side. We'll start with there and quickly wrap it up because the offense was mediocre for the most part. Sam Darnold was okay. He had the touchdown to A.J. Barner, but was able to find easy dump-offs to Cooper Kupp, to A.J. Barner, early, mid-game, late game, and he kept the ball out of harm's way, didn't have a turnover. He had multiple plays where he probably would have made a turnover in the regular season, but He didn't. He kept the ball. Like, there was a screen in the third quarter, I think it was, where he held that ball a little bit too long. The screen was covered, and instead of trying to do something crazy, he just threw the ball in the dirt, took the incomplete pass, lived to see another down. So multiple times where pressure was in his face, just threw the ball away and lived to see another down. Seeing the maturation of Sam Darnold and his decision-making in the playoffs was something absolutely remarkable. To be one of those turnover-prone quarterbacks in the regular season, to turn it up a notch and have 0 in the entire postseason, that's impressive. That is very impressive, and that's a testament to how hard he worked to get that right, to make himself better as a player. You got to be so happy for Sam Darnold. He wasn't great in this game, but come on, man. Come on. I mean, how can you not be happy for him? How can you not be happy for Sam Darnold? This is his 5th team. He was an afterthought. He was going to be a career backup, and then one opportunity in Minnesota, he took full advantage, got a new opportunity to be the starter in Seattle, and in his first year, he's a Super Bowl champion. He won a Super Bowl before Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, and Lamar Jackson, among other quarterbacks in the NFL. Sam Darnold was a franchise quarterback all along. He always had been. It just took a while, a lot of decisions by incompetent organizations, and a lot of bouncing around and a lot of perseverance, but he made it. He's found his home in Seattle. He's a Super Bowl champion. He will be immortalized in Seattle forever for as long as he lives. Congratulations to him. And then we get to Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker, man. Sorry about the bang. I don't know how loud that was on the mic. So if I might throw an earphone warning onto the screen in post-production. But what a night for him. What a night for Kenneth Walker, man. He had a challenge, not only to go up against the Patriots defensive line, which was playing out of their minds this postseason, but without Zach Charbonnet, they knew that he was getting the ball, and he had 27 carries, 135 yards, should have been a 170 or 180 had that touchdown run in the end not been called back for a holding by the center, which, god damn it, out of all the times to have a holding penalty, why there? Why there? Just do your job, and so Kenneth Walker can have his moment in the spotlight with throwing an absolute dagger into the Patriots' hearts to seal that victory for good. But it was incredible. Absolutely incredible. The challenge was right there. It was the toughest challenge the Seahawks had faced yet. This was the best run defense the Seahawks had faced yet, and Kenneth Walker dominated them. It wasn't always pretty, but he had a lot of big runs. He had a lot of short yardage runs. The Seahawks were amazing on 3rd and short, just like I thought they would be. The Patriots aren't good on 3rd and short. When the Seahawks won on 1st down and Kenneth Walker was winning on 1st down, they moved the ball down the field enough to come away with points. When they were losing on 1st down, they were punting the football. But Kenneth Walker did more than enough to win. He set his team up in positions to win, to get points that the Patriots, simply could not. And while I would argue that he didn't fully deserve to win Super Bowl MVP, I'm not going to take it away from him. He had a great night. He deserves it. But let's be real for a second. The kicker, what's his name? I have it here in the bottom. 1 second, sorry. It is Jason Myers. Had 5 field goals, Super Bowl record. Sure, Kenneth Walker got him to that point, but it was Jason Myers that broke the Super Bowl record to get those points for his team. I thought that he should have won it, and come on. Can we have a kicker win Super Bowl MVP in the modern era? Please, that'd be so great. But either way, Kenneth Walker deserves it. He had a phenomenal night. He was definitely the rock of the offense, and definitely what a phenomenal performance. Absolutely deserved it. But now we move to the defense. This defense, the dark side defense, as I learned throughout the game, is that's what they were called apparently. I never learned that until now, but hey, better late than never, right? This defense, one of the best performances in the Super Bowl I have ever seen. Period. While this game was mostly boring because there wasn't a lot of offense, there was a bunch of punts. At one point, there was like 18 punts or something like that in the game, or it was nine punts or 10 punts in the first half. I mean, it was a snooze fest. But you know what? When there's a snooze fest, that means there's great defense being played. And the Seattle Seahawks defense was incredible. And everything I thought they would do, they did. Not only were they great getting after Drake May with rushing 4, when they did bring the blitz, it worked every single time. Every single time. But in coverage, they were incredible. And for the majority of the game, they were great at stopping Drake May. They were able to stop his legs and not let him get very many yards, again, until the fourth quarter when they were playing more lax coverage. I digress. But they rallied to the ball. Like I said, talking about the Patriots, every time they had a ball thrown downfield, there were multiple Seahawks defenders ready to catch, ready to make the tackle. There was one catch, it was made by Mac Hollins, I think. It was a curl route over the middle of the field. And right as he caught that ball, there were 4 Seahawks roaring down onto him. Like, the only way you get that is not with high-level execution, good coaching. Yeah, part of it. But the big thing that tells me about, or what I came away from that, is this team was prepared. Not only are they well coached, not only do they have a great roster, they were very prepared. They knew what the Patriots were going to do in this game. They were expecting what they were seeing, and they saw it and were able to react instantly and get to that ball. When you see multiple defenders around a football, that means that they are a well-prepared football team. That means that they're not only working together as a unit, they're seeing everything together. This guy sees everything that this guy sees. They're in sync. That is an in-sync football team. That is a prepared football team. That is a great coached football team led by Mike Macdonald. And then you look at some of the stuff in the secondary. They eliminated a lot of the deep shots by Drake May. The thing that the Patriots offense was built on all year long. Yeah, Drake May had the touchdown to Mac Hollins. That was a great throw, by the way. That was probably the best throw of the entire game. Straight up. There wasn't very many deep throws, but that one was the best one. However, they had multiple breakups down the field. They were running with receivers down the field and shutting down those opportunities. And when Drake May started to get antsy and started throwing the ball way more, trying to play hero ball, they were able to finally get a takeaway from it. They were able to make Drake May pay for his mistake and for his bad decision. So, if the Seahawks, if the whole defense could win a Super Bowl MVP, I think the defense, despite the kicker, Kenneth Walker, maybe they should have been the ones to deserve it if you could give it to hold one side of the ball, but you can't do that. One individual player has to get it, which sucks. I mean, come on. But at the same time, it was perfect. It was just about pitch perfect. I mean, they eliminated the run game. They didn't allow the receivers to get down the field and take deep shots. The first big downfield shot by the Patriots passing game didn't come until the fourth quarter. They were all over everything. And that brings me to Mike Macdonald, because what a trajectory that this man has had as a football coach. We talked about this in the preview. He's the only head coach in history to go from college DC to football court to NFL coordinator to an NFL head coach in the Super Bowl in a 5-year span. Third youngest head coach to win a Super Bowl. Went from the defensive coordinator for the University of Michigan to winning a Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks in a 5-year span. That is a trajectory I don't think that will ever be replicated again. I mean, that is not only a testament to the genius and the person and the hard worker Mike Macdonald is, but it's a testament to where the game is going, because the game is moving to young, offensive, and now defensive schematic masterminds. The offense has dominated with these young offensive head coaches in the NFL. Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay. I mean, their playbooks are ran in more than half of the league right now. And it took a little bit, but now the defenses have caught up. We now have the Mike Macdonalds of the NFL. We have the Robert Salehs of the NFL. These young defensive masterminds that are absolutely the cutting edge to stopping these great offenses in the NFL now. They've caught up. They've arrived, and Mike Macdonald is in the forefront of that. We gotta be happy for him too, man. I mean, think about that. Think about the opportunity that he took to be the Seattle Seahawks head coach. And then in year one, they won 10 games, looked like a pretty strong football team. They barely missed the playoffs. And then in year two, absolutely took the league by storm, led the best defense in the NFL, arguably. I think Houston was statistically better, but at the same time, everything, they caught lightning in a bottle. Everything came together for the Seahawks and Mike Macdonald, and I'm really happy for him too. And remember the stat that I told you guys? Let me pull it up because I want to see it and read it again. Sorry. Where the heck is it at? Am I losing my mind? Am I losing my mind right now? I am so sorry. Where the heck is this thing? What in the world? Okay, I can't find it. But I think you guys, I'll just mention it again. I think it was the stat that Mike Macdonald's led defenses were 6-0 against quarterbacks under the age of 23, had 22 sacks, 8 turnovers, and all of that remained true. There was a lot of reason to believe the Seahawks would win this game, and a lot of people thought that the Seahawks would dominate this game, and they dominated. I mean, the final score line doesn't indicate what this game was. The Seahawks absolutely destroyed the New England Patriots. While the defense shut down New England's offense, the Seahawks offense took down the Patriots defense slowly but surely. It was a death by 1,000 paper cuts and then a couple big gashes by Kenneth Walker. Congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks. For the New England Patriots, don't dwell on this too much. You guys had a fantastic season. Be happy of what your team was able to accomplish, and I would not worry. This team is going to be back sooner rather than later, at least in my opinion. But that's going to do it for me for this recap. As for one more thing before we close it out, off-season content. Off-season content is going to be a little interesting for the Shoemaker Take. I think I'm going to really focus on doing a lot more creative things, doing a lot more fun things. I don't know if I'm going to do any long-form series like content like I did last offseason, like predictions versus reality or season previews. If I do, it's going to be a lot shorter and a lot more quick compared to the in-depth breakdowns that I did, just because, I mean, it got to a point where it was so frustrating having to do it over and over and over and over and over and over again for every single team. I mean, I definitely wanted a break. I'll admit that to you. I wanted a break during the offseason, and it never felt like I truly had a break. I'm going to focus on balancing my time a little bit more and managing that more effectively during this offseason. Going to do a lot more Titans content as well, so be on the lookout for that, Titans fans, if you guys are listening to this video. But it's going to be a lot more fun. It's going to be a lot more experimental. We're going to be doing a lot of different video ideas, some video essays maybe in there as well with good editing. If you guys remember the one I made on T. Higgins and Jamar Chase getting paid last offseason, might make more videos like that. My stomach just growled if you heard that. I'm sorry. But that's my plan. I'm going to be more fun-oriented, doing things that I want to do content-wise, and I hope you guys enjoy it. We're going to be doing a lot of different things here on the Shoemaker Take, so stay tuned for the ride. It's going to be a lot of fun, but that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys have made it this far, please consider hitting the like button and the subscribe button. It helps the channel out tremendously. If we can get to 300 subscribers very, very quickly, I would love it. Please, please do. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What you guys think of the Super Bowl? Were you guys happy with it? Were you guys not happy with it? I know a lot of you guys probably weren't. You guys were thinking it was going to be a lot more fun. Honestly, despite everything telling me that it was going to be a defensive showdown, I was hoping that it was going to be an offensive showdown. It was not. So let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. And also, follow me on social media, whether it's Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Posted a video showing all the games day snacks I made. It was phenomenal. Oh my God, all my Super Bowl snacks were so good, man. I love cooking stuff at the Super Bowl. It's the best. But that's going to do it. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys oh so very much. Thank you all so much for another great season of the Shoemaker Take. This offseason is going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Definitely going to be fresh, interesting. And then just before we know it, season 3 is going to be here, and it's going to be the best one yet. Hope you guys have enjoyed. I love you all very much, and I will see you all next time.